My name is Maris. For most of my life, I played the background character in someone else's spotlight. And that someone was my sister Celeste. She was always the loudest in the room. Blonde curls bouncing, laugh echoing like a war drum, and confidence so blinding it cast shadows on anyone standing near her. Celeste didn't walk, she arrived. She made entrances like royalty. Meanwhile, I learned how to exit without being noticed. Growing up, our roles were quietly assigned. She was the dreamer, the free spirit, the wild child with a spark. I was the planner, the fixer, the sister who held the world together behind the curtain while she strutted across the stage. When she failed classes, I tutored her. When she lost her job, I paid her rent. When she spiraled emotionally, I picked her up from clubs, drove her home, and stayed up all night listening to the same stories. Same excuses, same promises to change. And she never remembered to say thank you. Not once. But I remembered everything. While she partied, I worked. While she traveled, I invested. While she lived on borrowed charm, I built a business from the ground up. My friends called it discipline. My family, they called it boring. Even Celeste laughed when I mentioned working weekends. Who even likes spreadsheets? She said once, drunk off sangria and self-importance. I didn't bother correcting her, because I wasn't building spreadsheets, I was building an empire. In my early 30s, after grinding in hotel management for nearly a decade, I bought a boutique luxury hotel in the heart of the city. Every brick, every light fixture, every inch of the marble floors mine. I didn't tell my family. I didn't throw a launch party. I just opened the doors, turned on the lights, and let success speak for itself. But silence is a double-edged sword, and people like Celeste weaponize it. Fast forward to last fall. I received a call from my general manager about a high-budget, last-minute event request. I almost didn't look at the file until I saw the name on the reservation. Celeste. She had planned a $150,000 birthday party at my hotel without asking, without informing me, without even acknowledging who the owner was. She booked the ballroom, the rooftop garden, 2 penthouse suites, and even had special monogrammed glassware flown in from Italy. And when I say planned, I mean she bulldozed. She had my staff working overtime, custom floral installations, a rotating sushi station, a live harpist for the entrance. There was even a 12-foot ice sculpture of the letter C. I stared at the invoice. Not a single payment made. Not a single call to me. I should have shut it down, sent her a cease and desist. But instead, I let it go forward. Not because I was weak, but because I needed them to see who she really was. The people she had fooled for years. Her friends. Her fiancé. His wealthy, old money parents. She had spent years painting herself as the golden girl, the successful, charismatic, unstoppable Celeste. And me? I was just the invisible sister with no ambition. The helper. The family's shadow. Not anymore. The night of the party, I walked in alone. No entourage. No designer dress. Just a sleek black gown, hair pulled into a clean knot. Heels clicking across the marble I paid for. The room was breathtaking, I'll give her that. Soft golden lights, velvet drapery, laughter swirling through the air like perfume. Celeste stood in the center like a sun goddess. Gold gown, dripping in diamonds she didn't buy. When she saw me, her eyes narrowed like I'd ruined the shot. She lifted her glass. "Oh, wow," she said, voice raised just enough to pierce the music. "Didn't know they let homeless people into 5-star hotels now." Laughter followed. Hollow, performative. Everyone laughed, except the people who mattered, her fiance's parents. Standing a few feet away, startled and confused. She thought she'd humiliate me. But what she didn't realize, I owned the floor she was standing on. I walked toward the stage she had set for her grand toast. The spotlight was on her. But I stepped into it anyway. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, picking up a glass. "Before Celeste makes her toast, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's a beautiful space, isn't it? Classy, elegant, expensive, polite laughter, curious glances. I remember when this building was an abandoned bank. Took me 3 years to renovate. The permits alone were a nightmare. But eventually it became what you see today. The Aurelia Hotel. My hotel. Now there was silence. People looked around. The staff. The name. The logo etched into the mirrors. Yes, I smiled. Celeste didn't tell you this party was at my venue. She didn't ask. She didn't book it properly. She just assumed she'd get what she always gets: everything. For free. Celeste's face drained of color. I kept going. You know, I used to think being the quiet one meant being weak. That staying silent made me safe. But the truth is, it just made me invisible. And people like Celeste? They depend on that. They feed on it. I turned toward her fiancé. She ever tell you who paid off her $40,000 in student loans? Or who covered her rent for 2 years in LA? Or the credit card she defaulted on that's still in my name? He didn't speak. His parents stared at Celeste like they were seeing her for the first time. Celeste stepped forward. "Maris, what are you?" "I'm talking," I said firmly. "Something you never let me do." I turned back to the crowd. This isn't about revenge. This is about clarity. For the first time, I want everyone to see me. Not the punchline in her stories. Not the shadow in the background. Me. The woman who built this. Who never needed applause, but damn well earned it. I handed the mic to the band leader. And I walked out. Outside, the air was crisp. I felt weightless. No guilt, no anger. Just freedom. A few minutes later, her fiancé caught up to me. "You really built all this?" he asked, gesturing to the glowing hotel behind us. "Yes." He paused. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" I looked him in the eyes and said, "Because I don't need to perform success. I live it." That night, the party didn't end with fireworks. It ended with questions. About her. About me. About truth. Some of her friends left early. Her in-laws stayed quiet. And Celeste? She had to sit in the silence she once forced on me. I didn't just reclaim my voice that night. I reclaimed my story. So if you've ever been made to feel invisible, if you've ever been talked down to, underestimated, or dismissed, don't skip this moment. Like the video. Subscribe to my channel. Because sometimes, silence isn't strength. Sometimes, real power is finally speaking. Finally owning the room you built with your own 2 hands. The moral? Never let anyone write your story for you. Especially not someone who only shows up for the spotlight. Because when the truth comes out, you shine brighter than they ever could.